How'd this break for the Patriots when you look at it?
I mean, the first thing that stuck out to me, guys, just looking at their schedule is how, again, like I think it's hard to project like what teams are going to be in October, November, December. But like you look at the schedule, one thing that sticks out is sort of how their star has fallen. And, like the lack of prime time, like big prime time games. Now, I believe the Sunday night game they have in December is like an NFL Network game, not an NBC game. So week 2 is NBC, right? But that game, so that would be the only NBC game they have this year. And then the opener, to me, this is the first time they've had a season opener where they're the other team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're getting carried by the other team, which is, probably the first time for them since Brady became the starter, where they're not the marquee team in their week 1 game. Because the conversation nationally going into that one, what's it going to be? Jalen Hurts, now he's paid. Can he live up to his contract? They're coming off the Super Bowl loss. How do they react to that? They've got a couple of new defensive pieces in Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Almost all the conversation around that game is going to be Eagles related. And so, you look at, why is that a 4 o'clock game in week 1? It's a 4 o'clock game in week 1 because of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
And so, that part of it's interesting, too. And again, this is sort of that bleep measuring contest between the owners, but, this is the sort of thing that I know the Crafts are going to pay attention to and looking at how often they're on the marquee. There are other, big national, late afternoon game at Dallas. They're the other team in that game. That game's about the Cowboys.
Right.
Right. The Dolphins, you could argue that's a division game, everything else, so maybe it's even there. But almost always when they're on the marquee, there's a reason outside of it being the New England Patriots that they're on that marquee.
Yeah, they play the Chiefs in prime time.
They play the Steelers in prime time. The Steelers are a bigger draw than they are. You know? So I just think that there's that piece of it that's really interesting. Now, as far as how this breaks, we're going to get some answers early in the year. Because I think right there out of the gate, those first 4 games look pretty challenging. I believe 3 of the 4 made the playoffs last year, right?
Well, the Jets certainly did not.
But the other 3 did.
Yes, they did.
If you go 2-2 in those games, you're
I think
feeling
you're
pretty
okay.
good as a Patriots fan, right?
Yeah, you're doing okay then. And then,